I'm gonna talk about Twetch like you don't know what Twetch is, so hopefully you can, maybe there's something that's revealed here, right? Because there's a lot of things going on sort of internally as well. So Twetch, the interface to Bitcoin, you know what it looks like there. You can post stuff to the blockchain, and it looks a lot like Twitter as of today. I'm Josh. I'm a entrepreneur, software background, product management. Spent quite a few years consulting and then spun up a few businesses in the last few years. Twetch is by far the most exciting, in my opinion. I'm also known as Elon Moist, which all of you probably know because I invited you through that channel. So this is Twetch is kind of my coming out party. I've been pretty much hiding behind the scenes for the last 2 years since this whole crypto thing got so scary. So we're gonna change that though. So here's the team. You guys probably have met most people here, but I just want to do a formal introduction. Billy, Aaron, Ben, our CTO. Ben also hasn't had too much time in front of the camera, but he's going to get that. A big reason why we did this is so that we could all be in the same room. This is actually the first time all Twetch people have been in the same room at the same time. So it's really important for us, and we thought we should get some other people come out here and kind of talk about what we're doing, but learn about where everybody's at in this space. It's a very important time right now to align, I think. So that doesn't mean be friends or whatever. That means to know where other businesses are. So if your business is dependent on other services or other people's success, that you can have a good, confident perspective of that. Right? So if I'm gonna work with Ari with Legally Chained, I wanna know where he's really at. So shaking hands and doing the thing in person is really important. That's something that most cryptocurrencies just seem to sort of forget because I don't think they're really acting like real businesses. So there's Harry. So everything that you sort of touch on Twetch is Harrison's work. He's also the youngest member of our team, so we depend on his energy. Thank you, Harry. And Anthony here, and Anthony's the newest member of our team. So every time you interact with Twetch on Twitter or anytime where we have some bugs, Anthony's the guy that has to do the work there and make sure that's organized and make sure that everybody has a good experience getting on Twetch. Because right now it's a pretty poor experience to be onboarded to Twetch. It's a pretty rough thing. You have to sign up and then DMs and all that. But it's a human process, and it really works for us because we're able to kind of know our users as they come in the door. So here's other work. Billy talked about this a little bit, but I in the last, let's say 3 years, I started to really turn my time, my professional time and my work hours onto crypto projects. So I have a hand in a number of these. I've either created them or I was like with Honey Miner here, an advisor, shareholder, et cetera, helped them launch their brand and their product with Billy. I contributed to some collectible stuff, many other Ethereum, Counterparty, Ravencoin, any asset that had some sort of, you can put data on the blockchain, I became pretty interested in. Coindex iOS app, check it out. You can check the price of BSV on that. One of the more better product user experiences and design experiences I'm pretty proud of. And then Unbanked newsletter, which I merged these companies, and Twetch, of course. So what's Twetch? Twetch is an application to Bitcoin. So you can post information, view information, and it's all intertwined with money, so you can make money if it's valuable. So what we've done, I think maybe people are familiar with this, but our early focus for the business was how can we put transactions on chain? Because we sort of saw that as a way to value and sort of contribute directly to Bitcoin SV, because Bitcoin SV values miners, and so do we. So today, I think the number's a little bit higher than that. It's a little 167. So when we first started, we just had a prototype. We said, all right, how can we get 1 million transactions on chain? That's basically how we started. We had a very simple goal, and we had a very simple idea, and we just sort of going with that. Now, the thing we're really proud of is that it's really important that there's some kind of recognition towards like an automated computer-generated transaction and human interaction on the blockchain, because the human interaction is sort of carries these other things, which like identity I think is becoming a really big topic. So building reputation, having a legacy, like Aaron likes to talk about as well. Being able to put information there that can stay longer in systems that are more open, so you can benefit directly, you can profit directly, things like that. So I don't know. Actually, I have to say, I need to talk to the guy at Pure Game and catch up with him. But I think before they did the US ban, Pure Game is really taking off. So we're more or less the active users with that's a non-wallet, right? We have a lot of active users, at least compared to some of the other people in Bitcoin SV at the moment. So that's the interface. If you aren't using Twetch, by the way, I don't know if there's anybody here that isn't, considering this is sort of a Twetch-related event. Just let me know. We can definitely get you on. So the problem that we set out to solve was content creators aren't making money. They can't claim rights and ownership. Aaron and Billy both touched on that. Fake accounts, bots, sort of this manipulation of information that goes on. We're trying to prevent that. And the third thing is the transaction on chain. So again, we're trying to send sort of this costly signal to miners when the halving happens now, not later, that this will be a place that they can come and get money from and have future value. So mining Bitcoin SV is in more transactions that happen, the more interaction that's going on chain in Bitcoin SV, we sort of can signal to miners at the halving, hey, maybe right now you're getting away with profit. Maybe Tether's really helping you out, right? Because the only way BTC with their block model really makes money is if the number goes up. So we're sort of trying to signal to people that have a lot of money involved that there might be more money there in the future. It's really simple, I think. Sometimes people find that hard to understand. The solution is users can make money. So we're driving interactions. Hopefully, people can come onto Twetch and continue to make money. Pay a penny to get a penny. And if you're really clever at it and you have the right type of photos and you're doing the right things and you build a following, you get paid for a follower on Twetch, right? So if you can kind of carry your network over, you're pretty well incentivized. It's really good. So all the time, as you know, Twetch is built on Bitcoin SV. So forever, it's kind of a funny word. If you check out Clementos's blog for a write-up on op return data and stuff. But really what we're trying to say is sort of to the common person that the Bitcoin blockchain just allows your data to persist a little bit longer, has a little bit better of a guarantee. You get ownership to it. And the interface, which is our biggest focus as a company and where the most time and money is spent, is building an interface that's very nice, friendly, and is similar to current internet applications. So the mission, get people paid, 1 million transactions on chain. That's sort of our internal thing. And onboard people to Bitcoin. It's really simple. The market validation is the amount of transactions we've done, 167,000. Demand from content creators, such as Arcolect. So there's people who are very famous or popular on things like Twitter at the moment that basically have to go and beg for money. Patreon or other types of services to keep their servers running and things like this. So Twetch is, people that are in that position have a really good appetite for something like Twetch because at the very least it can help cover their server costs, right? So that's a pretty small differentiator that has like a lot of, it's really easy to sell somebody. If you create content, Billy and I have done a lot of stuff where you just, you put time, not just costs like running your servers, but after a while, if it's $50 and then it gets popular and it's $500 or whatever, that really adds up and you have no way to monetize it. Right now, how many Twitter followers do we have? More than 5,200 Twitter followers. So ironically, we're really popular on Twitter for being the Twitter killer. But that's sort of where we bootstrap the marketplace. So that's all intended. The whole point of the interface and the current design of Twetch is that we can actually mimic and show people this interface and say this is sort of the power of Bitcoin. Primarily microtransactions is the feature that we most rely on to show a differentiator, and it's really familiar. So the most common thing we get is a friend, Bitcoiner, will come to us and say, I use Twetch today, show my grandma how to use Bitcoin. So that, and it's very, very simple form today. It's provided a big value in that sense that it's easy to share and talk about, right? When you go on NASDAQ, Twetch is probably something that's easy to talk to people about because it's Twitter with microtransactions. Okay, so the market size here, again, I'm kind of giving this like as from, if you're an investor in Twetch, which essentially you are if you hold Bitcoin SV, this is sort of that business investor pitch, right? So the number of social network users, what year is it? I don't even remember. I live in 2048, and this is 2019, 2.7 billion people. Well, that's a lot. That's like a third of the world. So like a third of the world uses social media. And that's sort of what we're trying to go for, right? We're trying to leak into the legacy internet and show them the power of earning a penny, because that's not possible. Again, basically anything under $1, Twetch wins. It's just like inevitable, because on the internet, it costs $1 to send $1, right? Like there's so much operational cost for companies like PayPal and having their chargebacks and insurance and things like that. Just to be able to send $1, they're basically using that as a loss leader to keep you as a company or a customer. So it's that we're going for something bigger than just Bitcoin SV. So I talk about the competition and cooperation. I really like the theme of capitalism and competitiveness in the day-to-day level in Bitcoin, but none of us or Billy says, we're fighting over breadcrumbs. And that, I also share that perspective. I think we're a little bit ahead of ourselves if we're going to be talking about competing. And these are the numbers we're talking about. It's a lot. So the business model is really simple. If you aren't familiar, we just collect small fees. So Twetch doesn't have to sell your data. Twetch doesn't have to do any kind of aggressive or non-relevant advertisement to make money. We can collect Satoshis along the way. So you could this is just like arbitrary numbers that we've chosen. This could be like, after the Genesis update, it could be a little less than that. You can do something like 0.001 or whatever, right? So our fee model can be based on volume, and the more users we get, the more volume you get, the more value the users can exchange without us really being in the middle. So we're just focused on building the best possible user experience for people to post and see things on Bitcoin, right? And our model, it allows us to operate from a business perspective. It's really great. So if you're not familiar, if you run a traditional startup in internet, you'll have to sort of come up with a business model, and then you'll offer a free package for as long as you can to get as much growth as you can. And then in between that, then you'll ask for a VC, say, hey, I need some money, man. He's probably got a lot of other internet companies in his portfolio. His whole business strategy as a VC is to buy your company later so that they can put all the data in their own dark pool. That's how it all works. So you have to go beg for money from them because you need to pay Amazon for this contract. That's like, I personally have seen contracts basically $100,000 to $250,000 just for 12 months. You just got to commit. You need an account manager. If you got 100,000 users plus, you're going to have to start thinking this way, basically. And so you have to make these really big commitments. And I'm not saying that Twetch wouldn't have to do such a thing. If it really, depending on how we build our product, but we have less reliance on that type of business approach now because we can depend on Bitcoin to sort of be this place where if our database gets wiped out one day, we can find a way to get all that back, right? So it just starts making you think that way. So I'm trying to offer sort of a softer approach to Bitcoin. If I was talking to a software builder today, you would say, well, we can gather a few Satoshis along the way that say, well, we just don't quite have to go get funding yet. We were able to pay our server bill this month because there's actually something there. So you can operate with a greater level of confidence. This is how I'd sort of sum that up. So the business model, users, they transact and they pay each other for information, and Twetch earns a percentage from that. The product is the idea to the post to the profit. So when you go into your notifications page, you can actually see how much you're earning per thing. So that's 9 cents likes. If you follow Twetch closely, you realize we started out with $1 likes, then we had 25-cent likes, and then we had 10-cent likes, and now we have 5. If you can't tell, there's a little bit of a trend. The more people that use Twetch, the cheaper it can get, which is pretty exciting. So this is probably the real thing that if you haven't seen this presentation or talked to me in a business meeting today, you're going to learn about Twetch and sort of what we're thinking at the next level. So this is a picture of something that Billy and Aaron worked on, and we're calling it branching. And it's basically like a retweet, but every time you quote or retweet somebody, you can actually, when you do that, they get paid. So I'm gonna retweet or branch Rafa's post, and if I get a like through that, Rafa can also get paid. So that's where we start to get really interesting, in my opinion, because it's looking at trees of information, and then the money sort of can travel back down to the creator or the origin, wherever you found it, right? So things like Tumblr, who had to, I don't know if you guys follow Tumblr, but you can just sort of imagine their lifespan was not so nice. Well, that's because they had all these services that are free, and then nobody that ever created cool stuff or was a great curator could make money from that. That's a big part of the internet, is curation. So this is sort of our step into solving that. We actually are meeting here this week to start to really get the wheels on this. So there'll be some sort of minimal viable version of this coming out pretty soon. So when you share stuff on Twetch, you can, or somebody shares your stuff, you can make money too. So this is from Cambrian, but I thought it was good to talk about this today too. So I just want to sort of express where Twetch is at. We're an objective business. We're going to use the best possible solutions for the best possible experience for our users. So one thing we're doing is looking at other wallet services such as Relay One, Handcash could be another one. Any time there's a wallet that has some kind of network and offers a really great experience, and particularly allows the user to get it funded well, would be really good for Twetch, right? So we're looking at other products, integrating other products. We're pretty wallet agnostic. We started with Money Button and did them, and that went really well because we were able to bootstrap and focus on other things besides building a wallet. It was really well for us. So we're doing also other things like this. So this is sort of we're still in development on this. We have it internally running and it works and all of that. And there's other things that we can do. So you can imagine this might be good for us from a business perspective because we can start to, it's a primarily Asian user base. With Relay One, they offer a fiat on-ramp. You can buy Bitcoin SV with Cash App or Venmo or things like that. So it's really interesting. So we're going to keep doing things like that. And you can look forward to more of these sort of announcements. So the technology it's built on, BitDB, Planaria, Money Button, RelayX, and Bitcoin SV, as most of you are probably familiar with. Big shout out to Ryan Charles. I always make sure I do that. Without Money Button, we couldn't do this. Even with its limitations, and sometimes we really want more out of this type of service. It allowed us to get to market fast and grow fast, and now we can kind of go back and refine that experience. So. Milestone, why we're doing pretty good. I'm really proud of this, and this has to go a lot to Billy and Harrison and Ben, because we've done, since we started this idea, really Ben had this concept of page shot. You could go and archive a website. That's sort of, when we met Ben, we saw that, and we already had, even Aaron and all of us sort of separately, but together had this idea of Twitter and social media and this using Bitcoin and a blockchain. So we started thinking seriously about the idea of building Twetch in April, and then we turned it into a real business. So Twetch is an incorporated company based in the United States. And then we started prototyping. Billy showed some of that off. And then in July, we started getting things like that actually made it a little bit more formidable and a better user experience. So now we're in September. We look to sort of take this, I would say, like a Twitter. Basically, our business plan is in the next 3 months to be like Twitter. I mean, it's that simple. For better or for worse, is to use the feature base of Twitter to build the most practical and common, or let's say the users will relate to it best. So that actually is. I realize that's a pretty. It might sound really unambitious, but Twetch as it is today is just a small idea of what we're trying to do, right? So the market adoption and how we've sort of been doing things is we bootstrap off of wallet services that allow us to focus on user experience and onboarding. So the onboarding problem is a common theme in our company. That's our primary focus, as I will repeat many, many times, both publicly and internally. We want to create a application experience that has a differentiator to current internet models that users will find benefits from, and they don't have to know what Bitcoin is. They can only realize the potential or power of Bitcoin. So when we built this, we thought about a lot of things. And one thing you can kind of imagine is like this publishing platform where on Twetch, you could publish on Twetch, have a long form format, a short form format, whatever that may be. And you can even use this as your sort of paywall method if you only want to put certain information out. So we are not, I'm not going to say Twetch is going to change its interface anytime soon, but we're also going to say it's not going to change. So we have some ideas. The user can authorize Twetch to post tweets, images, videos, etc. You get the opportunity to have that information assigned to you, as Aaron talked about, like having essentially rights from the get-go. And you can make money if the network value is increasing. You're really incentivized to get more people onto Twetch because you can do things there and monetize them directly where you do them for free. So our biggest differentiator at this time is really the brand. We believe pretty well that the biggest commitment you can have in Bitcoin, or the way you can actually survive long term, is building a brand that people recognize, because there's going to be a lot of copies. People are going to move really fast, and they have the power of Bitcoin. So the apps are going to start overnight. They're going to trend really fast. It's all going to move a lot faster. It's very agile. So Twetch, it's in our best interest to continue to build the brand. People want to know what Twetch is, hence the name. As much as people hate it, it's some people hate it, but they like to make fun of Twetch. It's a good thing for us. So we see that as a big opportunity in our marketing. So brand and experience. So here's our competition. Everybody's pretty familiar. I even got BitPaste in there. Aaron, if you're around, gonna wipe you out, brother. No, so this is our sort of a local Bitstagram, which is really mostly Twetch posts now. Memo, I've never tried Memo, but everybody talks about it. I'm guessing it's really similar. And yours and things like this, which yours has been decommissioned. And Weeblock's been doing a really good job. So shout out to Weeblock. They've been growing fast and getting a lot of attention, and they're sort of the counterparty for Asia to Twetch. But I don't know about these guys. We're more focused here. So we're looking at the Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. We want to be like them. We want to start to actually go for big user bases. We want to go for the traditional internet, find out ways to onboard people and incentivize people to come onto Bitcoin by competing with them. Now, we're not yet, but that's what we're heads at, okay? So first mover, ease of use. Monetized actions, really simple. The network effect, Twetch has done a good job getting the Bitcoin SV community to sort of rally behind and find use in this. Next level will be to get cryptocurrency enthusiasts, and then the next level will be getting content creators, which I'll show you one in a second. And then the next level is all of Aaron's friends in Hollywood are going to be dying to use Twetch. So sort of our stages of progression outside of the Bitcoin world. So you're storing information on chain. That's really great because we can claim data ownership, which again, if you read Instagram's terms of services, this is a real big one. The craziest thing about this to me, we just talked about this today, was it's just like it doesn't really take a lot to just be like better at that, which I just find pretty insane. If you use any service on the internet right now, you don't own anything once it goes there, which is just it's pretty crazy. I don't know. I always knew that, right? Working in software and product. But once we started building Twetch, I really started to realize, once I really read the terms of service, it was a pretty real thing. So we have a really good team. I believe pretty strongly in our team and sort of if Twetch is going to be successful to the point, or if we're going to prove our assumptions of how we think Twetch might work and why it's interesting, our team can get us there at the base level. So we'll sort of worry about all the hiring and scaling and all that. We're pretty far from that, in my opinion. So here's some testimonials. These are pretty cool. Let's get right to the good one. This one here, I like this one a lot. So Janet Elizabeth says she was a Bitcoiner. She was previously a Honeyminer user, wasn't that right? That's how she came around. And she said, all right, I had to buy 0.07 of BSV to try Twetch. Don't roast me. I thought that was pretty good, not only entertaining, but that's sort of like the brand speaking, right there, right? We're trying to create this thing that, we would love that Bitcoin SV users want to use the app. It's not like we're going to alienate anybody, but we're trying to build a brand that's fun and exciting, and we can make fun. If you know our history, we were burning some coin one day, and we really took advantage of that to say, hey, Bitcoiners, BTCers, or whatever, in this sort of small ecosystem, Twetch is like the worst app ever. It's destroying BSV. So that seems like a pretty long time ago, but that was actually a good eye-opener for us. So, I semi-accidentally using BSV without really trying. I think this is what crypto is supposed to do. So you guys can use these for anything else you're talking about in Bitcoin SV, because this is pretty great. We also had another guy, was it Mr. Chalk, is that his name? He came on, he said, he's a big skeptic of BSV, but then he tried our app because he got, I don't know, he didn't like Twitter or whatever. And he said, I just got on Twetch app for 5 minutes, and I have and he screenshotted all of his transactions, and it's like 10 transactions in there, right? Just from using Twetch. So again, it's in its early stage. It's really a great place to sort of take friends and family and show them what Bitcoin can do. This is the user spotlight I was referencing. So Arcolect he has 1.5 million Twitter followers. Just this account, the personal account of him, 80,000, and then he manages about 4 or 5 other accounts, and so it amounts to a couple million people. And he found Twetch really interesting and signed up. And probably our biggest onboard to the date. And he comes on and posts his images. That's basically what his Twitter looks like too. It's got all these cool kind of designs and artist contributed content, things like that. And this is where I think it becomes really interesting. We're trying to attract content creators. So there's some products out there that are sort of saying, let's get a lot of users. We're saying, well, maybe if we create a place that's really fertile ground for a creator, then it's going to help us sort of onboard and accelerate some stuff. So for him, he's paying $500, or he's one of those guys. Started a hobby project, and now it's cost him a lot of money. So he has to go out and beg for funds on Patreon and all that. And on Twitch, you just make it. He just paid for this post. That has he made a buck here, right? Well, that definitely paid for his server cost, right? For him to run this bot, or his upload cost, which was whatever, 7 cents or something for this. So we're really trying to get more of these types of people on. We're working on actually making tools that help these guys, like Arcolect's an automated thing, right? So how can they get on Twitch, automate their posts, and do what they're doing on Twitter? So the points of improvements include that. We want to get to Twitter parity, and we want to increase the speed of Twitch, which has been a pretty big theme for us. We did an update while we were in Indonesia, where it was focused just on being lightning fast. We're not quite really lightning fast yet, but we're just trying to make a premium internet experience, just like one you would experience on Instagram or Twitter, right? So the onboarding experience is where we spend our most time. We're going to start to do things where we have a proper sort of referral model. You can imagine that we can integrate Bitcoin into that pretty well, where you invite people and can get paid microtransactions and things like that. So there's even more of that kind of one step out towards making it so when people come on, they don't have to buy Bitcoin. Or they actually can come on and already have a post for free or whatever that is. So we're working on ideas like that where we can start to grow a little bit faster, and we don't have the same friction we have right now where you have to sign up for a wallet and all that. So what's next? We're working on this week. Branching's coming, so API for developers and creators like Arcolect. We're going to be working on some branching models and some prototypes for that, so people can make money when you get shared. And some new Twetch products, as Billy sort of showed. We're not quite there yet, but that's where our head's at. And of course, we're not going to stop until we really are competing at a higher level. So we really want to. And January is sort of our time horizon to really put a lot more pressure on ourselves to move faster. And then that's moving towards May 2020, which is this opportunity for us, again, to signal to sort of the people with the most investment in the Bitcoin ecosystem, which are miners, to come on. So we have all that intertwined. It's a big thing, but we really value mining, and we focus most of our time on getting more people on Bitcoin. So if you haven't, this is Twetch.app. You can get the wait list, or you can DM us on Twitter, and Anthony will personally make sure you get onboarded. And that's it.